How to renovate your condo legally in New York City. This is quite a complex topic, which not a lot of people on the internet have spoken much about. So in this video, we aim to demystify this topic and give you actionable insight and pointers to make your life easier and to make your integration into your apartment in your new condo building more efficient. I'm Nick at Hauseit. We are New York City's largest for sale by owner and buyer closing credit company, established in 2014. If you are interested in saving money when buying or selling real estate in New York, check out our website, hauseit.com. The spelling is below. Save up to 6% when selling and up to 2% when buying. Now let's begin. Many first-time buyers in New York City often have big dreams when it comes to buying a condo, buying a home, and renovating it. And in theory, it should be a very straightforward exercise. The city has tens of thousands of contractors. There are so many people in New York City who do construction, but then when you try to figure it out yourself, you think, wow, the prices are so high. Contractors don't call me back, and to make matters worse, apparently my condo building has all of these rules and procedures, some of which might not even be written down, that in theory will prevent me from actually renovating my place and doing what I want with the most expensive asset that I may own. So in this video, we want to give you some actionable tips as to how you can most efficiently and smoothly renovate your condo from the time you purchase the apartment. The first thing we suggest, especially if you're buying into a small condo building, is to get to know your neighbors before you even think about starting to do any work on your new apartment. The reason why this is important is because the people who you now live around don't necessarily know you. They don't know if you're a nice person. They don't know if you're a reasonable person. So they're going to proceed with a lot of caution when it comes to reading those first emails that you may send, and certainly when vetting and thinking about whether or not to allow you to conduct any renovations that you have in mind. In general, we suggest that you live in your apartment for at least 6 months before you make any noise whatsoever from your apartment. Saws, grinders, all of these small tools that many handymen possess create a tremendous amount of noise. And each and every time you do this, especially in a pre-war building that may not have great soundproofing, you irritate the very people who are on the condo board. The condo board, of course, has the authority to fine you, to litigate against you. They have a lot of power, and these are the people that you do not want to offend soon after moving in. Consequently, it's very important that when you first move into a condo, you resist the temptation to complain. Even if there is a legitimate need for you to complain, you should still probably not be the one to raise the complaint. For example, if your lobby hasn't been painted in 10 years, as a new owner, you should not email everybody and ask when they're going to repaint the lobby. Coming from you without any credibility or any relationships with other neighbors, it's not going to be received well. Therefore, if you do have any complaints when you first move in, it's probably smarter to talk to one of the neighbors who's been there for a while and see if they would be open to raising this with the broader group of residents. Another tip when thinking about your renovations is to follow protocol. Protocol is subdivided into two separate topics. The first topic is the scope of work. You probably don't want to try to do something in your building that other owners have not done before. For example, if none of the apartments in the building have central air conditioning, it means that there are no air conditioning units on the roof. So if you submit an application to put in central air with plans to put a compressor on the roof, the neighbors are not necessarily going to approve that. They don't have it themselves, they're unsure of how it works, and they don't know you either because you're a new owner. So they probably will not allow you to proceed, at least easily. The second part of following procedure is really just making sure that you actually follow the steps associated with doing renovations in your building. Naturally, the first step, of course, is to fill out an alteration agreement, which is a legal document that provides you with a ton of different things that you will agree to conform to when doing your renovation. Upon signing the alteration agreement, you agree to take all of the risks associated with damage to the building itself directly caused by your renovations. You also agree not to jackhammer on Saturday morning or after 5 o'clock during the week. So make sure you ask your neighbors or management or the board for the alteration agreement. Thereafter, you want to make sure that your scope of work is clearly outlined through easy to understand proposals and drawings which come from your architect or engineer and the contractor you may be working with. It's even better if you are open to hiring a contractor or an engineer or an architect that has been used by your neighbors, especially if these neighbors are on the board. New York City is a challenging place, and there's a lot of people out there, especially in the construction industry, who will tell you they know what they're doing, but they actually have no clue how to do a particular job. So naturally, a building is always concerned, especially a small building, if somebody comes in with a contractor they've never met to do a job that might be complex. So if you're open to it and you can negotiate the price, please try to think about hiring a professional that your neighbors have used in the past. And you can actually look up the professionals that your neighbors have used by going on the New York City Department of Buildings website. If you type in your property address, you'll be able to find out all of the filings concerning the renovation work they've done on their property. And in these filings, you will see the name of the architect or the engineer, as well as the contractors, and you can actually just contact them and you can say, hey, my name is Nick, I live in a building and you did some work for my neighbor downstairs. I'd love to see if you can give me a quote for a job that I have. Finally, when it comes to your renovations, please note that the precedent set by other neighbors with regard to not necessarily following proper procedure does not exonerate you from the obligation to follow procedure, particularly if you are a new buyer. If you move into an apartment and you talk to somebody on the 3rd floor and they tell you that they renovated their windows without submitting the alteration agreement, without submitting it for board approval, this does not give you the protection or the legal right to proceed essentially with your window replacement without following proper procedure. While the condo board might not decide to go after your neighbor because he's been there for a long time, if they have nothing else to do, they will absolutely come after you if you don't follow the proper procedure. Call it unfair, but at the end of the day, you've bought a valuable property, and the strategy here is to figure out how you can accomplish your goals without offending or bothering anybody to the point that they choose to make your process any more difficult than it needs to be. One other quick tip is when you're actually doing the construction work, you really do need to actively manage the job. For example, many contractors who are seeking to minimize the number of days their workers are on a job might be tempted to do work after 5 o'clock. For example, you might come home to your place after work to the sound of drilling at 6 o'clock. And if you ask the contractor what they're doing, they might say something like, oh, we just only have a couple more holes to drill. We'll be done in 10 minutes. Well, to your neighbor, on a Wednesday night at 6:45 p.m., 10 more minutes of drilling can result in them absolutely hating what you're doing. And you don't want that sort of animosity to make your life harder in the future when you have legitimate reasons to make noise even during working hours. You really need the cooperation of your neighbors, and you want to avoid antagonizing them at all possible costs. We hope you enjoyed this video. I'm Nick at Hauseit. If you're looking to save money when buying or selling in New York City, check us out, hauseit.com. Save up to 6% when selling and save up to 2% when buying. We've been in the market in New York City since 2014, and we've helped over 1,000 clients buy and sell and save money along the way. We'd love to help you too, and we hope to hear from you.